One of the most shocking announcements, if not the most shocking announcement, actually no, one of the most shocking announcement probably came right before this one, of the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, was that Kirby Air Ride was getting a sequel 22 years after the launch of its original game. And it could become one of the most significant games of that Direct because it can prove two things. One, a long-standing belief amongst Nintendo fans, and the other one will be more about the pricing of games on the Switch 2, depending on how things are going to go forward. And you know what? I thought, why not discuss it a little bit in this video. So first, let's begin with the thing that the game proves. And the thing the game proves is that if there is a champion within Nintendo, any game can get a sequel and be brought back. Kirby Air Ride exemplifies this. Masahiro Sakurai is the person that will be leading and directing this game. Now, a lot of people, myself included, believe that this could be a part of a two-deal game where he makes Kirby Air Riders, I should say, and then makes also Super Smash Bros. 6 or 7 or whatever the number is, or whatever name it's gonna have for the Switch 2. I also am kind of biased and believe there could be a possibility of a third game being Kid Icarus Uprising remaster, remake, even if it is just adding Sakurai directing a little bit of more content, or producing, being a producer role in that game and adding content to the game so the game can be ported to the Switch 2. And honestly, with the mouse controls, I think it's the perfect opportunity to tap in and bring that game into the Switch 2, but we'll see what happens. But it proves that long-standing question, a long-standing belief that as long as a game has a champion within Nintendo, or somebody that Nintendo respects, or a big developer that comes to Nintendo and gives them an idea or has a proposition, that any game legitimately can be brought back. Now, for a while people believe this, but we're mostly on the case of, that's only the case for certain franchises, or maybe that's just the case for Miyamoto. You know, not F-Zero, Star Fox and Pikmin are the biggest examples of franchises that keep coming back. I don't think Pikmin has missed a console generation since its inception. Did it? Technically speaking, it skipped the Wii, as we got Pikmin 1 and 2 on GameCube, Pikmin 3 on Wii U, and Pikmin 4 on Switch. But if we count re-releases, 1 and 2 were on the Wii, Pikmin 3 was on Switch. Actually, the entire Pikmin trilogy was on Switch. So yeah, who knows? And Star Fox, is being brought back a bunch of times, although it did completely skip the Switch generation, despite some people, myself included, believing they could have brought back and brought Star Fox Zero, remade it, removed maybe the gamepad mechanics, although that wouldn't have been as easy, so maybe that's why they didn't do it. You never know. So yeah, now we have this, and obviously you can easily just say, well, but that Kirby only gets this because it's Sakurai. Kirby only gets this if you are correct, and it's a 2-deal game or a 3-deal game because of that. It still happens because of it. I wouldn't be surprised, I'll put my hand on, I'll say crazy prediction. There is a possibility of the Earthbound franchise returning. Toby Fox has always been a big fan of it. There's a lot of inspiration from it in Undertale. Could he do it? Probably not. I'm not saying it's happening, but if Toby went to Nintendo, Shigesato Itoi, the creative mother / Earthbound, has already said he's up for it. Whatever Nintendo wants to do it, they can do it. He doesn't need to be there. He thinks the trilogy is done, but if they want to continue the IP, they can do it without him. If that happens, and they can, even if they go to Itoi, like, can you come in and just, even if it is just to be a part of it as a transition or something, and Toby wants to do it, why not? I mean, you could say, well, why would Toby, after working on the Mother game or the Undertale games and Deltarune, why would he go to make Mother? I don't know. Sakurai also clearly wanted to make Kirby Air Riders, so there's a chance. The only thing I would say is that maybe because he wants to bring back a franchise that he loved as a kid. I think the bigger argument probably would be, why would he give up the freedom of being an independent to go work at a big conglomerate, a big AAA multi-billion-dollar corporation, when he could just do his own thing, even if it is for a one-game deal. It could happen. I'm not saying it will, by the way. Don't quote me saying look at this crazy motherfucker. He believes Toby Fox will be making Mother 4. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there, giving the example of it. The great one. The man that was responsible for the Mario and Rabbids franchises existing and making the games good, David Soliani, recently left Ubisoft. I wouldn't honestly be surprised if he wasn't already maybe working making his way into working with Nintendo. I don't know what happened post leaving Ubisoft, but I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up at the Nintendo Direct being like, hey, here's a game I'm making, or something like that. But if he went to them and like, hey, I'm a big fan of F-Zero, I would like to make an F-Zero game, here's my pitch, here's my idea, there's nothing that tells me they wouldn't at least listen to him, and that could become a big stamp of approval of him working on it. Heck, what happens if one of the guys that has been working on the Zelda games is like, hey, you know what, I've been the director for the Zelda games the last, I believe the current, forget his name and I apologize for it, and before anyone says, no, it's not Onuma. Onuma is the producer. The actual director of it. I believe he's been the director of the game since Minish Cap. He worked at Capcom too. I forget his name right now. But what if he goes like, you know what? I've worked on Zelda. Here's the next. We already have this guy who is whomever sub-director or something. He's already ready to work on Zelda. I want to go do something else for a little bit, and he goes and makes, I don't know. Let's say, I know it's Japanese, so probably won't be Star Tropics, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of dormant. He wants to make a 2D platformer Wario game, or Camelot. Camelot. I was gonna say if Camelot wanted to, they could have already made Golden Sun. They just don't want to do it, so I don't know what I'm talking about here. But it could happen. I'm not saying it will. Not saying it does. I'm just giving examples. And Sakurai doing Air Ride is the evidence that as long as the developer wants it, they probably will be more than glad to help to allow it. Now, obviously, it will depend on it. I'm almost certain that this is a part of a 2-game deal. He makes a smaller game like Kirby Air Riders, and then he's also making Smash Brothers. You could say, well, would he do both games at the same time? It depends on his position. They say director, so maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the director of this game and the producer of the other two, the other game. Aonuma, for example, famously is the producer for the Zelda series. He has his hands on every pie that they're making. What was it? Was it 2014? I want to say the directing 2014, where he was a part of the people talking about Hyrule Warriors. He talked about Breath of the Wild at the time, or at least showed us a little bit of Breath of the Wild. I'm not sure if that's the same direct had the 3DS games for Zelda, but he basically at the same time was working on, or producing the Hyrule Warriors spin-off, the Dynasty Warriors, Hyrule Warriors spin-off. I was going to say Dynasty Warriors again. The Hyrule Warriors spin-off, the Breath of the Wild, and the 3DS games. And I think he was also overseeing the development of both, 2014, 2014 probably the development of Twilight Princess HD, which probably already was in development at the time. I don't know how long it took, don't quote me on that. Maybe it was 2014, 2015, I don't know. The game came out in 2016, March, so I wouldn't be surprised if by June 2014 already was overseeing it. And even then, a lot of games didn't come out. Hyrule Warriors, I don't believe Hyrule Warriors didn't come out until I want to say November of that year? Maybe I'm wrong. Did it come out before or post Smash? I don't remember. And the 3DS game, I believe, came out in No, the 3DS game had just launched in November because it was the Link Between Worlds. But they already were working on another 3DS Zelda game, I believe on the same engine, to be wrong. But yeah, he already was overseeing all of it, so, possibility for a producer being on multiple projects is there, so I wouldn't be surprised. Now, the other thing I think this game could very much prove or explain or whatever would be the pricing of games. As we heard from Nintendo, they've said they want to price games because of the pricing of Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart World. I keep saying Mario Kart 8 every time I talk about this game, be it on stream, be it in private. The first thing I say is Mario Kart 8. That's what you get after 11 years since the release of Mario Kart 8, and 13? Oh god, 13 years. Oh, since the game was announced. Oh, that hurts. that hurts because the game is announced in 2013 and launches 2014, and now here we are in 2025 and we're just now getting its sequel. Oh, that hurts. But I keep saying Mario Kart 8 instead of World. But Mario Kart World is $80, $80 digitally. I believe in America is across the board, is both. I don't think it's 10, the physical version is more expensive. In Europe is more expensive. I don't know why. I guess it's to incentivize digital. I don't know. But one of the justifications they gave is that they believe in the price of the game, but they're also they're going to have a lot of content. But I believe is also what they're going to say said is that games are going to have a range of prices they can go for. So far, I've heard that I saw something saying that most games will be 70, and then will be premium games like Mario Kart World to be above it. To be at the most games will be 70, 80 will be for the higher priced the games that premium games. So basically, it will be, from what I've seen, and I won't be surprised if that's the way the industry is going to go. 70 is the standard. 80 is for the big game. 80 and above is for the big, long games that take years and years to make, to do so. I believe that will be the same thing that will happen with GTA when it comes out. Games that have been in development for 12, 13 years. GTA comes out this year, will be 12 years post the launch of 5. Mario Kart World is 11 years post 8. So if they were working on the games that entire time with smaller teams working on DLCs and World and mobile, the mobile game for Mario Kart, and even the was it Lab? It wasn't Labo. It was the RC thing that they did. Which was a weird Mario Kart. I forget the name of it. Was it for Switch? Well, yeah, it was for Switch. Mario Kart. I forget the name of it. It was Mario Kart something. The one with the RC car that would drive around was neat, but I've never tried it. I believe that's what I heard about the regular 70 and then 80 for the higher price games, and then that's why I was like, well, maybe the 80s for the games like this. Like Breath of the Wild, for example, not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom was 70. America got it 70. We already had 70 for Breath of the Wild, but for the games that took longer to make and stuff like that. And on that case, I kind of understand. Don't like it. Let me get this point across. Don't like it. I understand it. I don't like it. Now you might say you're getting Mario Kart at launch with the system. Yes, but, and I misspoke on stream the other day for you, the day before yesterday from when I'm recording this, and I said I got, because of discounts I had with the store I was pre-ordering the console from, I got the console for 10 euros more expensive than it would be, and I get the bundle. So basically I got Mario Kart for 10 euros. Actually, I was incorrect. I misspoke that I got the console 10 euros cheaper with Mario Kart because of all the discounts I did. So basically, instead of the $469, which is the price in Europe, I got it for $459, and I basically got the game for free and then a discount on that. So yeah, I didn't have to make the choice on it. Now, would I have probably paid the 80 for it? I hate to say it, but probably, because my brain, since I was younger, I've always done this. It didn't matter what game it was. But when it came to the big box releases, I'd be like, should I pay the 60 for it? And a lot of times I'd be like, how long do you think you're gonna play this game? And overall, I'll be like, I'll probably be just playing 10 hours of a game would be 8 or 6 at the time euros an hour. That's not bad. It's basically going to a movie, and obviously a lot of games you would play more, but that's neither here nor there. But when I heard about the pricing, and even for GTA, I was like, well, GTA, when the 100 was like, Japan is the way they have in Japan. Different tiers of games have different tiers of prices. And when I heard the 80 and then the 70, and then I heard them saying, oh, maybe we'll differentiate it with here and there, my brain went, maybe they're bringing the Japanese style to the West. And Kirby could be the game that proves it. Now, if they're going to release the game and it's going to go with the way I've seen it, of 70 across the board and 80 being the premium game, then yeah, what I'm about to say, completely irrelevant and you can ignore it. But if it is the way I was thinking about the Japanese style, this could be the game that proves it. Because I was thinking, I even said it on stream, I thought that originally what we were going to do was the pricing of Japan and be doing what they've already done kind of with the Switch. If you remember correctly, the Switch, in terms of games, had a range of prices. People don't remember it because you didn't get a lot of them, but you got them. Metroid Prime Remastered was $40 /euros / whatever currency you utilize. It was 40. because it was a remaster of a GameCube game with nothing added. Then you had the regular 60 that was across the board for most, if not all games. And then you had the 70 that in Europe was for both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And in America, I believe was only for Tears of the Kingdom. So you had that range. Now sure, it was only one game in the 40 and one game in the 70 and everything in the 60. So what guarantees us that now it isn't just across. I've even said it, this could be the way of other games like F-Zero and Star Fox to make a comeback. Because I was like, I feel like there will be an expectation to make those games at 60, but people probably would not. I don't think those games, F-Zero and Star Fox, would sell well at 60. I believe Metroid can, not just because it did, but I believe Metroid can because the range of Metroidvanias and the number of Metroidvanias out in the wild is huge, but futuristic kart racers and on-rail shooters, not as much. So I was much more on the fence about those two than I would be of Metroid, and I was like, but if they put it cheaper, people probably, they'll be like, it probably won't sell as well, people probably get upset. But now if there is already an official, like, there's a range of prices, there is a possibility. And I originally thought, and even said it on stream, was what I thought could happen, and this game could prove it, depending on how much it costs, would have been 40 for remakes, remasters, ports of like older games that don't have any content added, 50 for smaller games like Kirby Air Ride. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page of Kirby Air Ride, and it tells me that Kirby Air Ride only had 3 game modes. I'm not sure how much of it, I don't know how much content it had, but I believe it was a smaller game even back then. People consider it to be a smaller game, fun but smaller. It had 3 game modes. I don't know how large each game mode was, but if it could be a Kirby Air Ride situation, it could be fit in the situation like it's 50. It's a smaller game. It's a good but smaller game that comes up, has the 50 in it, and I thought like, oh, maybe 50 could also be for remakes that are more involved in the redesign. Still don't add a lot of content on any, or just improve quality of life improvements in a way, kind of like the Switch 2 version of some Switch 1 games, of like it's just improvements here and there for, be it more not just graphical, but like not game modes, controller or controller quality of I don't know how to explain myself. I know what I want to say. Like the mouse controls being added to Prime 4, stuff like that. Like it's minor stuff, but stuff that it adds up together at the end. Then I was like, 60 could be for the regular games, the majority of games, and with maybe even remakes being added with little post-game content or content being added, like the Xenoblade games. Chronicles 1 and X Definitive Editions both adds post-game content. Although in Chronicles Definitive Edition, the first one, you can just access it from the title screen immediately, and X you have to play through the game to get there. But it could be either or. I was like, oh, that could be a way. That could be that most of the games. And then you get to the 70, which would be for games like Donkey Kong, games that are larger, more content, and took longer to make, but not incredibly long to make. Again, like this game, Bonanza, is a game that most people are assuming, myself included, that it was made by the Super Mario Odyssey team, and the game has been in development probably since like 2018, so that's roughly 7-8 years. And then the Mario Kart will be for the 80, will be the games that even have longer development time for it, or just like they do in Japan, depending on how big the game is. Because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember hearing people talking about like the voucher situation in Japan being so much better because games like Xenoblade and Fire Emblem were on the upper, and Zelda were on the upper echelons of prices. So the 100, I believe in Japan would be 100,000 yen, or the 99 euros, it would be in Europe, $99 in America, would have translated to buying 2 games that would together will be, the discount would be bigger in Japan because like the games are 70 to 80 each. You put them together and you pay 100 instead of putting them together and paying 150 at launch. And that's why games like Xenoblade and Fire Emblem, if you go and talk to people about the launches, they're like, oh, the digital sales of this game could be as high as 50% and way above what you would expect from Nintendo because of the voucher being so much bigger and so much more important in Japan. Honestly, fingers crossed they still bring back the vouchers. I don't think they will. I would love for them to bring it. That and the gold coins being back. I don't think they will, but it would be a good sign of goodwill. Hopefully they do. And I think Kirby could be the game that represents and showcases exactly how the pricing is gonna go. If they do it lower than the 60 or the 70, or if they go below 70, because if it is the fact of like it's 60s across the board or 70s across the board, it could be 70s across the board, and you can remove the 60 from what I was saying. It's like 50s for the remakes, general remasters like Prime. Then you have the smaller content games at 60, and then 70s for the regular games and every game, and then 80 for the bigger, longer, whatever games. I think, yeah. So anyway, tell me in the comment section what do you think about the topics of the game, proving that as long as there's a champion within the company, a game can and probably will be made, depending on how important that person is. Let's be honest right now. I don't think any random Joe developer from the Zelda team can go up and be like, hey, I worked on the Zelda game, can I make like Star Tropics? And they go like, okay, who are you? And they're like, oh, I made the model for Link's boot. It's like, okay, come with a plan, and we might consider it. Versus the higher up, like, oh, I was the director of it. Oh yeah. You want to take a break from Zelda? If we got a replacement for you, I do. Okay, then you could work on it. Or maybe a second. You can do it. And the pricing of it. Do you think I'm on the right track, or do you think I'm just picking good huff of copium and hopium about the potential prices and stuff like that. But anyway, thank you for watching, and hey, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button or the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed and you want to see more, click the subscribe. I try to stream every day on YouTube and on Twitch. I'll be trying to make more videos regarding Switch 2 topics. I already have a few planned that I don't know if I will make or not, but we'll see. Not how we'll make or not, how I will make them probably. Then it's depending on how happy I am with them and how they come up, they get released or not. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye everyone.